The game never stops, and neither do we. Welcome into the Morning Espresso from the SDH Network. The Morning Espresso is presented by Oglethorpe University, where student athletes are built for life after the final whistle. You can learn more at oglethorpe.edu. I'm Jason Longshore. Before we get into Europe, into transfers, into the global picture this morning, a personal note. Last night, Atlanta Soccer Tonight became a 2-hour show on 92.9 The Game. This started back in 2016 as a podcast called The Peachtree Post. That morphed into Soccer Down Here and a podcast that then turned into the SDH Network. Along the way, I've been calling games for Atlanta United since day one, and our relationship with 92.9 The Game has continued to grow, and our partnership now is huge. Mike Conti and I talked about doing a soccer-specific show around the World Cup in 2022 and hoping that could turn into something lasting. Well, it has. And the whole idea was just the city has a deeper appetite for soccer than most people realize. And it showed big in the last quarter of last year. Atlanta Soccer Tonight was the #1 show on Atlanta radio in its time slot for adults 25 to 54. #1, ahead of music, ahead of other talk shows, a soccer show. That is why it's expanding, because you guys are listening. Y'all are telling people about it. Y'all are listening, and it's not about gimmicks. It's not about billboards. It's not about advertising campaigns. It's just proof that Atlanta's a soccer city. It's proof that there's an audience here that wants serious, thoughtful coverage. They want context. They want something that is real. And it's proof that when you build something patiently and with purpose, that the audience will meet you there. I'm so grateful to our team here at the SDH Network. I'm so grateful to Mike Conti and everybody at 92.9 The Game and at Odyssey. And most of all, I'm thankful to all of y'all who listen. And again, tell people about it. And it's so rewarding to get to do this on a regular basis. And to have a show on the top sports talk station in the Southeast and one of the top stations in the country, one of the most listened to stations in Atlanta, period, across all day parts. It's so cool to have a show there that we get to talk soccer in the way that we want to talk soccer. It's awesome. It's just, I'm so lucky to get to do what I do. So, with that said, let's jump into what's going on around the world. We'll start in the Champions League. Arsenal, they didn't just win at the San Siro last night. They made a statement about who the best team in Europe is right now. 3-1 win away to Internazionale, one of the hardest stadiums in the competition to get results in. Gabriel Jesus scored twice in the first half. First Champions League goals in more than 2 years. He's back from an 11-month ACL recovery. Beyond the goals, the performance, it was control from Arsenal. They played their game. They did it their way. They also scored on set pieces because they are putting the time into those fine margins that are separating teams right now, and it's paying off. They managed the second half professionally, and they secure qualification so far with 7 wins out of 7. The only team to say that. So impressive. They are through to the round of 16 in either first or second. No team in the competition is operating at this level right now. Behind them, Giants are wobbling a little bit. Manchester City, they go to Norway and lose 3-1 to Bodo Glimt. First Champions League win for the Norwegian side. They were 3 goals down before the hour mark. Rodri was sent off. Manchester City looks a little fragile in transition right now. Pep Guardiola has rebuilt before, but this version of City doesn't feel as inevitable as they have in the past. PSG, they lost at Sporting in a match that they largely controlled. They had more of the ball. They had more chances. They didn't convert. And Luis Enrique spoke afterwards, and you could hear the frustration, literally with some of the words that he said that I can't repeat. And just so frustrated that his team did not get the reward for their work. They played well, and they still walked away empty. Real Madrid, they took care of business. 6-1 win over Monaco. Kylian Mbappe, ruthless. Vinny Jr., happy now. Jude Bellingham, happy. Getting on the score sheet. Madrid is not at the level they want to be, but those results are at the level they want them to be, and we'll see if they can continue to build. Tottenham Hotspur, they beat Borussia Dortmund 2-0. They sit high in the table, a lot higher in the Champions League table than their Premier League table. Thomas Frank, maybe he's safe. Maybe. We'll see. Ajax, they stole a late win at Villarreal. They have their faint hopes alive to get into the knockout round. And now the pressure shifts. You've got games today. Liverpool going to Marseille, needing points to avoid the playoff route. Mo Salah back with the team. Will he play? We'll find out. Barcelona, they head to Slavia Prague. They are chasing from the middle of the pack. Bayern, they're trying to protect a remarkable home record. They should be fine. It's a Champions League that right now it feels like it is Arsenal's. Now, at this point last year, it was not PSG's, and it became PSG's by the end of the competition. So there is still time. But right now, Arsenal are the best team in Europe, and they're starting to create some separation. Number 2 on the Morning Espresso. Let's bring it back home a little bit closer for the summer. Decatur Watchfest 26, they announced this morning that the War and Treaty will perform a free concert on June 25th on the Decatur Square. That's ahead of a U.S. men's national team match during the World Cup. Awesome group if you have not heard them. They're Grammy nominees, Americana Music Award winners, a national act being brought into this free public World Cup celebration. Such a great group. I love their message. I love their music. Really cool announcement. And it goes with the growing lineup that already has Big Boy opening things and the Indigo Girls closing things on July 19th. Really cool, and there's more to come. Decatur is a city that has fully embraced soccer. I'm sure there's a lot of Atlanta Soccer Tonight listeners in Decatur, a lot of SDH Network listeners in Decatur. Decatur FC setting attendance records in the WPSL. They have packed viewing parties all over the city of Decatur, and Watchfest will be a 34-day run of music, matches on the square, official pubs that will be having the World Cup matches, pre- and post-match concerts. It's what builds a host city culture looks like. It's not just the stadiums, not just the infrastructure, but these community spaces that turn a tournament into a shared experience. It's so cool to see Decatur Watchfest continuing to build. It's also so cool to see another kind of partnership start to build in Chattanooga. Nofo Bruco and Chattanooga FC, they announced a new partnership that makes Nofo the club's official beer partner, front of the shirt sponsor on training kits and warm-ups for 2026. They've got 2 collaboration beers coming, Always a Blue IPA and 423 Lager. Both fan-named, cool contest to come up with those names, both debuting at Finley Stadium this spring for the MLS Next Pro season. For CFC, I mean, supporters have been at the middle of their experience as a club from day one. For Nofo, it continues a pattern. They're on the front of the shirt for Walsall in the English 4th Division. They're on the front of the shirt for Drogheda United in Ireland. That season will get started here in a couple of weeks. It's also the same philosophy behind their partnership with us here at the SDH Network on Around the Corner Lager, which you can get exclusively at the Brewhouse Cafe before being canned for mass consumption this summer. It's not billboard sponsorship. It's long-term community integration. And I just love to see what Nofo is doing. They have a new distribution deal as well. You're going to be seeing Nofo in increasing numbers everywhere you go. And it's such a cool story to see them grow. And we're so thankful for the partnership. And it's awesome to see them now partnering with another soccer organization in the Southeast in Chattanooga FC. Let's go to the domestic focus. Austin FC trying to get a deal done for Facundo Torres. He'd be a designated player. Mixed year at Palmeiras after his time in Orlando. For Austin, it's a direct response to 2 straight seasons as the lowest scoring attack in the West. They have the DP slot after moving on from Osman Bukhari. You pair Torres with Brandon Vasquez, with Mirta Uzuni, and it feels like when everybody's healthy, this is a good attack. This is a good roster. And Austin being bold. I mean, you're talking about $9.5 million kind of deal to get this done. I like it. I really enjoyed Torres' time in MLS when he was in Orlando. I didn't enjoy it when he was playing against Atlanta. But being out west, I won't have to worry about that quite as much in the future if that's where he ends up. NWSL, we've talked about it, the Washington Spirit. It looks like they have gotten the deal over the line for Claudia Martinez. It will be a transfer fee, not a release clause paid, so it'll be a little bit under the world record, near $1 million being paid to Olimpia in Paraguay. She won the Golden Boot at the Copa America for Paraguay. She's already a national team regular. She just turned 18. This is a statement investment on a couple different fronts. One, that Washington Spirit are going to spend this money to be good. And two, to spend this kind of money on a young South American player, not from Brazil, is very cool to see. I think you're seeing the women's game grow so fast in different parts of the world. And South America is a huge gold mine over time for the women's game to continue to grow. I think you're seeing it. Obviously, Brazil has led that way, but Argentina has improved. Colombia is a team to watch. Paraguay now with Martinez. This is a growing area for the women's game, and I think you're going to see more and more players from South America make their way to the NWSL. Around the corner on the SDH Network, John Nelson, he is hosting on SDH AM this morning. You can catch it on YouTube and on Twitch. You can also catch it on demand in those places and as a podcast, wherever you get your Soccer Down Here podcasts. He'll be joined for an interview with Vanuatu United's William Cardona, the lone American in that squad. He'll talk about life in the OFC Pro League. He'll also take a look at MLS preseason with visits to training camps in New York City and in Nashville, or for Nashville. They're not in Nashville right now. They're in warmer climates, I think. Champions League review with Pep Guardiola and Thomas Frank, post-match audio, a preview of today's games, all the morning news, all the transfers, a global start to the day. And if you missed last night's extended interview on Atlanta Soccer Tonight with Brad Gazan that Madison Cruz and I did, you can find that full conversation now on the Off the Woodwork podcast feed at 92.9 The Game. The refill, news from all over the world. Senegal, they returned to Dakar to a hero's welcome after their AFCON triumph. Tens of thousands lining the streets, the president awarding major bonuses and land to each player. The AFCON final delivered record European audiences on television, 3.4 million viewers in France, massive digital growth across BN's platforms. Great to see that. I have not seen anything about the numbers here in the U.S. I was watching a lot of AFCON. I think I might have set a record for watching AFCON. It was such a good tournament, and I'm glad that now, after all of the controversy with the final, we're starting to get back to talking about how great of a tournament it was. Gotham FC from the NWSL, they are heading back to Mexico in May to defend their CONCACAF W Champions Cup title. Semifinal against Club America and a possible rematch in the final against the Washington Spirit. IFAB, they approved new measures to speed up the game, including countdown limits for throw-ins, substitutions, goal kicks. They've also expanded some of the factual VAR corrections. They did not move forward on the Wenger offside law idea. There is talk about the Canadian Premier League trialing that. So far in the trials that they've done, goals have gone up by about half a goal per game. Maybe they feel like that's a little bit too high of a number. I think that will come down pretty quickly once defenders adjust. I do agree with the Wenger offside proposal just because it goes back to the original idea of even is on. That was always what you were told. That was always what assistant referees were told when you were just looking at it. Now that you have taken away some of that margin for error with actually being able to tell with VAR and with the camera positioning and modeling and all of that, let's go back to the idea that we've always played under, which was even was on, and even was in air quotes because it was even to the naked eye from somebody 40 yards away. I think that's where we need to be. We'll see how IFAB gets there. That's going to be the question. I do like the measures to speed up the game. We've seen them here in MLS and MLS Next Pro for a little while. And again, it shows you that outside the box thinking from here in this country about how the game can be better isn't always a bad thing, even though there are some around the world who would lead you to believe that. A new BDO report shows that 9 out of 10 English clubs expect losses in 2025. That's not good. With wage costs now consuming 93% of revenue in the English Championship. That is insane, and that is not sustainable. And And this is why things have to change in terms of spending, salary caps, spending limits, whatever it looks like. You got to do something or you're going to have a bunch of clubs go bust. Wrexham, they've now dropped 20 points from winning positions. That's the difference between being in second place in the championship and being in the mid-table. They are in that range to get into the playoffs to get promoted to the Premier League, but they would be in second if they haven't dropped all these points from winning positions. So see if they can turn that around the second half of the season. Hearts, they have lost their captain, Lawrence Shankland, for 6 to 8 weeks in the middle of their title race in Scotland. Venezuela, they have appointed Osvaldo Vizcarrondo as their new manager for the 2030 cycle. And Bournemouth, they are closing in on a £30 million move for Brazilian teen striker Ryan. See how that one comes together for them. Also, a couple more things on the refill as we finish up. Sao Paulo police have raided an illegal sweet sales scheme. I've seen this bubbling up in Brazilian media over the past few weeks. It's been illegal sale of luxury suites at the Sao Paulo FC stadium. Among those targeted are a former club youth football director and the ex-wife of the club's impeached president and former events director. All kinds of documentation tied to this alleged scheme. We will see. Sao Paulo has said that they are the victim in the matter and they are pledging cooperation with the investigators. Ibrachina is a team you might need to keep an eye on. They're one of the breakout stories in the Copa Sao Paulo de Futebol Junior. They've eliminated traditional giants such as Atlético, Internacional, Palmeiras. They're in the semifinals. Founded in 2020, they're based in the Muca neighborhood of Sao Paulo. They have combined their results, but with a comprehensive youth structure that is gaining respect in Brazilian youth football. They have significant backing behind the project, leadership tied to a family known for deep business roots in Sao Paulo's commerce districts. They are preparing to play Sao Paulo FC next in the Copa Sao Paulo de Futebol Junior. Lionel Messi and Inter Miami, they are headed to Medellin. It is being called a landmark fixture. They'll play Atlético Nacional on January 31st. Build the game of history. It's going to be huge with Messi, with Rodrigo de Paul, with Luis Suarez there. Atlético Nacional, they are viewing this as a major opportunity to get some headlines and measure themselves, showcase Colombian football on a larger stage. Ticket sales are huge. The local buzz is huge. It is a big, big event in Medellin. And in Ecuador, Emelec, they have reached a deal to avoid further point deductions. They struck an agreement with Guayaquil City to settle a debt related to a goalkeeper, Gilmar Napa. The club has extended its payment deadline, so they've avoided additional sporting sanctions from the Ecuadorian Football Federation and down the road from FIFA. They were looking at a 3-point deduction in Liga Pro over these unpaid obligations. Emelec still in some financial issues, but we'll see if this can maybe help them a little bit get out of it. So from Milan to Dakar, from the Decatur Square to Chattanooga, from Austin to Washington, you got all kinds of stuff happening in the world of soccer this morning. Arsenal are the standard bearers in Europe right now. All over Atlanta, all over the Southeast, the game is continuing to build. And everything is going in a lot of different directions right now in a World Cup year. Not a surprise. The transfer window is getting pretty crazy as well. Stay connected with us, stay informed, stay curious. That is your Morning Espresso for Wednesday, January 21st. Thank you to Oglethorpe University for supporting the SDH Network, and we will see you tomorrow morning.